Greetings and welcome to Hexed Countered. I'm Joe. In this video, we are going to be continuing our campaign in Europe in the game British Tank Ace from Compass Games, designed by Gregory M. Smith. And this is a result of you guys giving the previous video 30 likes. So what I'm going to do here is, if you want to keep it going after this one, we'll again target for 30 likes. If we get it, we'll continue. Otherwise, we will not. And I may revisit this down the road, but this is, I guess, one of the two center points that I wanted to have for Tanktoberfest this year. And so I'm willing to keep it going. I do still plan on getting to MBT as well. And that probably will be, towards the end of the month as our final wrap up before we move into November and say goodbye to Tanktoberfest until next year. So a couple of corrections. Now, I gave myself a mentioned in dispatches and military medal at the end of last video, which was our first mission here in Europe. But as you can see here, there's an award number there at the bottom, right? For mentioned in dispatches, it's 3. For the military medal, it's 4. So you have to roll for it. So I will do that right now. I've got my handy D6 here. And we got a 2, so we will get the mentioned in dispatches. I'll just do them in order. And then for our other one, we got a 5. So that means we don't get the military medal. But mentioned in dispatches is a good starting point. Okay, we are ready to continue. So I think I have this correct now. We do have just our one award that we won, and I think the prestige levels are right and everything. I had kind of moved stuff around and all my markers got moved off. And I knew they were incorrect at the end of the last mission anyway, because I had not rolled for my awards and so on. So I know we did complete the mission from Operation Epsom. So we, for the rest of June, we do not have any other opportunities to gain that extra prestige or experience point, rather, for successfully completing that. So now we're just kind of at base level. So having said that, and getting ready to get back into the game here. So I don't have anything on the map right now because Epsom is done, and we don't get Goodwood until July. So I'm just going to use this for its sequence of play. We do have the cards, but I figured I would also show this as well. So we're going to determine our mission on chart A1, then we'll roll for weather on A3 and terrain on A5. So here is A1. We're still in June. So we will take our 2d6 and roll. Whoops. Knock that out of the way. Ooh, a 12. A 12 is a refit, which means no mission. So I'm going to mark refit down on my log here. And we will move on and start over here. Okay. So that technically counts as a successful mission, even though it was a non-mission. It just means we get one less mission in June. And we roll an 8 that time, which is an attack mission. So we're going to have an attack mission. Then we need to move on and roll on A3, which is our weather chart right here. And so again, we're in June. So we're on this one. We got a 9, and a 9 is rain. Okay, so we have an attack mission in the rain, and finally we're going to roll for our terrain, which is down here at the bottom of the other side of the chart. And that is a 9. 9 is, oh, we were only supposed to roll 1. Let me roll just the white one here. That's a 6. 6 is open. Okay, I have put my markers out. Attack mission, rainy weather. And we'll get into what that does for us here in a moment. And open terrain. Next, we roll on our enemy force generation chart, back to using the 2d6. That's a 3. And the 3 is 2W, which are trucks. Trucks are not rolled for. All right, so we just get 2 trucks. Okay, so trucks are or contain an infantry unit, so we're not completely without dangerous opponents or moderately dangerous opponents, but we do need to roll for their placement. So I'll roll a black die. And a 2 for the first one, we'll put it in A. Put that there. And the second one gets a 6, which would be C. Let's put them sideways, I guess, like that. Okay, now we need to roll for the quality of the troops, which is right here at the very bottom. A6 enemy troop quality chart. So we're going to roll our 1d6. And we get a 3, 2 to 5, standard Wehrmacht line troops. They'll have a morale of 4. Now, if you are wondering if you roll for quality for all the different infantry units, you do not. They're considered from the same unit and therefore are the same quality. So we have our 2 Wehrmacht infantry here. I'm just going to stick them under the trucks for now. They're considered to be on the trucks. Okay. Now, technically, you're not supposed to place the infantry unit. So I'm not doing this 100% correctly because they don't get placed until they dismount, and it is possible to destroy them in the first combat round without them having the opportunity to dismount. And trucks always leave after the first combat round. So basically, they're going to just drop off their soldiers and they're going to boogie on out of here before they get destroyed. So our task would be to try to destroy them before they can get away. But because this is an attack mission, the enemy gets to go first. So this is why I placed them, because their first action would be for both trucks to unload and leave. So now we have, that was their action for both. That's all kind of automatic. And now we have our Wehrmacht infantry out on the battlefield, and it is our turn here in turn 1. So with infantry, we always start at long range. So I'm going to put our Cromwell here at long range. So again, our first action here will be to move our turret, because when facing forward, as we are now, we cannot fire at A or C. We can only fire at B. So I'm going to rotate us to the left, and that's one of our actions. And then my second order or command will be to move us up to medium range. Then we would go on to the next turn, and we get to go first. So in effect, we get to double up here because they got to go first in the first round, and from there on out, we go first. So having said that, now we have the decision to make of, do we want to fire at this guy from medium range? Do we want to move up to close range and then fire for the benefits that would afford us? Now, I didn't mention this, but you can probably see here I'm open. I've got all my hatches open right now. Now, we can fire the machine gun, which has unlimited ammunition. We also have unlimited HE. There's no need, of course, for AP or APC in this particular mission because we don't have any armored opponents unless we get a counterattack, in which case we could, I believe, theoretically get some. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to, I think, spend our first command. You know what? Let's fire, because if we fire from medium range, okay, you can see our modifiers here. We don't have gunnery, and it's not a previous target yet. No smoke. It is raining, and I forgot to mention that, but that is going to be a +1 on the die roll. We're not buttoned up, no suppression, and the target is not hull down. So I think, in retrospect, because of this, I'm going to move up 1 more to improve our chances of hitting. So we're now at close range. We've spent our first command. Now we're going to fire, and we will fire. It really doesn't matter, but let's say, because we're in this column, and So we need to first see if we can hit them. And I'm just going to say we'll use the gun, HE. We're going to fire high explosive at them. 2 to 7 is a hit. So let's see if we can get that. Now, in terms of modifiers, we just have the rain. So we need a 2 to 6. And we do not get it. So that is a miss. So now they get to go. I'm going to put this on my opponent here because they're now a previous target. And they are also active because we fired at them. So here's our infantry versus tank chart, right? The Panzerfaust chart. Close range only. So I did move up there to get to close range. They do have to pass a morale check. Now we know their morale is a 4, so let me roll that first. It's a 5, which means they can fire the Panzerfaust. Okay, so now we will fire here. And we'll see if they do fire the Panzerfaust, and they do. Okay, now here's the Panzerfaust to kill. 1 to 2, glancing shot, miss. 3 to 6, tank destroyed, roll for fire and crew bailout. So we have to hope that they miss here. And it's a 2, which is a glancing shot / miss. So that is a benefit for me. So I'm, if I had remembered that, I would not have moved up to close range. So let me see if I can take them out here. Now, the other infantry, I believe, does not do anything. Let me confirm that. Okay, let me roll for them. It's not a 1, so they don't engage us. Okay, so we move on to our next round. Now, this time I am going to fire at them, and we will get a -1, which offsets the +1 from the weather. And hopefully we'll hit them this time. And you know what? Let's just use our machine gun. And we got a 7, which is a hit now because it was close range, and the -1 was the -1 for the previous target offsets the +1 for the range. So with a hit now, we roll here. And hopefully we don't roll a 10 or 11 or 12. And we got a 10, which is nothing. So that was not good. Okay, and I'm not going to mess with this stuff because we have unlimited ammo. Okay, so now we go back to them. And again, we roll to see if they can do small arms. And they roll the 6 again. So it is again a Panzerfaust. So this is not going to be good. Whoops. That went. Oh my goodness. Butterfingers. A 3. 3. Tank DE. Roll for fire and crew bailout. So we've been destroyed again. Okay, and I probably should have had to button up after the previous one because that's what happened. So this is Joe making a mistake again. At least this time I know about it. So roll for fire and crew bailout. So here is fire and crew bailout. Okay, so roll to check for fire explosion if the tank is DE from direct fire. If not an explosion, which kills all crew, then roll individually for each to bail out. So you can see we've got fire and explosion on high rolls. Roll the 7, which is the highest roll that is not a fire. So now we have to roll for bailout. And we have to do them individually. We'll start with the driver. He rolls a 7, which is out. So he's out. We'll have to check him now for injuries. All surviving crew are wounded. So we have to roll on our wound chart. And that's a 6, which is a light wound. So I'll put a light wound on the driver. Okay, now we'll do the gunner. That's a 10. 10 is killed in action. So the gunner has been killed. Next is the loader. He rolls a 5, which is out, and now we roll for the wound. That is a 9, which is a serious wound. So he gets a serious wound. And now the commander. Oh, and I didn't roll for the machine gunner either. So we'll do the commander since I said I was going to do that. That's a 6, which is out. And now we'll roll for the wound chart. That's a 7, which is a light wound. Okay. Now let's do the machine gunner. That is a 9. 9 is out, the highest out on here. Oh. So that would have changed. That would make this guy KIA, I think. So I'm going to put a KIA on there. Honestly, I don't remember if the other ones were affected by that or not. I'm going to just let it roll for now. I also have my stamina that I think I can use for myself, but for now I will not use that. So that was a relatively short and quick mission. I'm going to wrap it up. I don't want to get into another mission that could take a long time if we draw enough enemies. Obviously, we will have some negative impacts, so perhaps we should talk about that, some of the negative impacts of having been blown up here. So note to self, if you want to avoid the Panzerfaust, do not go to close range, despite the temptation to do it, and I may not have done it if it wasn't for the rain, but it is what it is. So we have a seriously wounded crewman, and we need to roll on the serious wound resolution chart. So this is 2d6, and it goes here and here, as you can see. And we got a 5. So a 5 is broken arm, miss 24 missions. So 8+ missions missed indicates hospital stay. Now, what the hospital stay means is that we get a replacement crew member. And in this case, this is our loader. So they would have to attend the Bovington Tank School if it was appropriate for what their job is. And in this case, they don't have a weapons maintenance, gunnery, or eye for terrain thing to check on. So they would not get that. But we do also have, we're going to get a new loader as well as a new tank and a new machine gunner and a new gunner. So we will have to roll for all of those guys. The driver and myself escaped with light wounds, which, this being the British Army, we must display a stiff upper lip and simply carry on. So that is what we will do. I will let's do our tank school right now, since we are, actually, you know what? I'll save that for the next video. So this being an extremely disappointing video, with me displaying some very bad tactical awareness and neglecting to remember that moving close to infantry means they can knock you out with a Panzerfaust, which seems pretty obvious in retrospect. Don't kill me too much in the comments, since I killed myself practically. But anyway, yeah, we're going to do the same thing. If you have, if you want to see more, roll, give us a like, and if we get 30 likes, I'll do another one with our new tank. I do have 2 prestige level. That's right. I forgot about that. And I actually have a 3. I have a 3. That's right. Now I remember. We started this campaign with 2. And we picked up 1 more. So we have 3. So I can upgrade from the Cromwell. And perhaps I will, perhaps I won't. I'll look through the tanks and we'll discuss at the top of the next video, assuming there is a next video. And if there is one, I will try to get it done before the end of October. But as I said previously, I do want to get MBT on the table for some videos. So we're coming up against the end of the month deadline. However, this being a solitaire game, even though I don't have Solitaire Sunday as a weekly series anymore, I could always resurrect it to do some more of this campaign. But that is going to do it for now. As always, I want to thank my channel members. Quick shout out for those 4 gentlemen, and we are done for this video. But I meant to say, before I forgot my place, if you are interested in becoming a member, you can click the join button and get the information, including a video that displays or talks about what that involves. So check that out if you might be interested. Otherwise, please consider liking, sharing, and or subscribing. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for that support as well. But even if you don't want to do any of that stuff, hopefully you'll come back and watch another video. So thank you again to everyone for watching, but we are done. Comments, questions, you know what to do. Post them in the comment section. Until next time, I'm Joe. This is Hexed Countered. Happy gaming.